Okay. My name is Juanita Scott, and I was born on May the 2nd, 1936. I'll be 90 years old next 2 weeks. So, I came to Jackson first in December of 1952. Where the post office is now was a huge tent, and that was the movie theater. There were actually people living in cardboard boxes. There was so many people here. Where the post office is now, across the street, is an empty building, but at one time, if you were facing the building, on the left-hand side was the Saddlemar's grocery store. Next was Charlie Steed's restaurant and soda shop. And upstairs he had rooms for for men to stay, well, men and women, but it was mostly men. And my father lived upstairs. He came here in 1952, and we came to visit in December of 52. And we actually moved here the middle of June in 1953. And we lived in the house that is still standing right behind the group of buildings, the Saddlemar's grocery and Charlie Steed's restaurant. And then there was a filling station down beyond that. And then the building beyond that still stands was a 10-cent store. And the lady and I worked for the town for a little while, and my office was in that building, and the lady that worked in the store taught me how to crochet, because we had so much spare time, and she taught me to read directions and to read crochet. And I have many Afghans that I have crocheted over the time because of that. There was the school was in the brick building that is now the town hall, and the elementary school went from 7 o'clock in the morning till noon, and the high school went from 12:30 to 5:30. And I lived right across the street from the school, so I could walk to school. And I think there was 20, I graduated in 1954, and I think there was 23 or 26 people in our graduating class. We had a little football team, and Mr. McGowan, who was one of the principals and assistant principals at the school, furnished the uniforms for the football team. And there was a field that was behind where these buildings are now that are apartments. There was the Brunson's dry cleaning, and then there was an empty field behind there, and Leo Heidi had a realtor office there. But before that, it was a Dairy Queen. And we enjoyed going to the Dairy Queen because it was right outside my back door, literally. So, but there was trailers everywhere, people from all over the United States. I mean, we came from Knoxville, Tennessee, and our neighbors across the street in Knoxville came here, and they were one of the ones that literally stayed in cardboard boxes for a while. You know, maybe a couple of months till they could get a trailer or whatever. There were not many houses here, where the houses are down the road toward Matlock Church. There were a lot of pecan trees in there, and that was a big trailer park. There were trailer parks everywhere. The well, gosh, there was a filling station where across the street, Mr. Brinkley's filling station. Mr. Webb had a little landscaping place on the other corner of Tisdale Street, and Richard Tisdale was one of the people in town that he was not a realtor exactly, but that was his work, more or less. He worked for the town also. I worked for the waterworks in the town for couple of 3 years after I graduated from high school. Probably in 1970, I should know the date, but I don't know the exact date. But my husband and I, Tom and Juanita Campbell, and Cecil Butler, organized the Southeastern Hobby Fair. And we had it at the Jackson Drag Strip. We had it down at the Little Boys baseball field. And it ran for probably 25 years. And it was a lot of work organizing that, because we had people. It started, basically, we were in the Gem and Mineral Society, Aiken Gem and Mineral Society. And we started with inviting gem and mineral people. And then it grew and grew and grew. And we had Miss South Carolina and Strom Thurmond here one year. And our Gem and Mineral Society made her a South Carolina ring that had South Carolina amethyst in it. Well, we gave one to at that time another Miss South Carolina, and Strom Thurmond was here, and he said, "I want one for my Nancy," so they made one for her. We also organized the Jackson JCS. There was 6 of us: Gurney Wiggins, David Weathersby, Bobby Garland, Carolyn Garland, me. We organized Jackson First Alert, and that was in 1979. We felt like it took too long for an ambulance to get to the Jackson area, because at that time there was only 5 ambulances in Aiken County. And so we organized Jackson First Alert. We started with an old police car that the town gave us, and we got donations to buy some bandages and stethoscopes and different things, and that we used that car to first respond until the ambulance could get here. We operated by donations only. We never charged anybody for many years. And we finally, through donations, we built a building, got an ambulance and a first responder truck. We later got a second ambulance. We later added on to the building, and it went down at one time, and now it is flourishing. It does not do as many 911 calls as we used to, but it transports people from home to dialysis or to doctor's offices, or from the hospital to home or whatever. and it's doing very well now. I think they have 3 ambulances now. But I retired 2 years ago because my EMT certification was going to run out, and I had given 44 years to the first alert. And at 85, well, let's see, yeah, at 85, I was still on the ambulance, taking the ambulance with another person to the polo games in Aiken. We would go sometimes 2 and 3 times a week, and almost every Sunday, well, we did go every Sunday. And so Jackson has grown through the efforts of many people, and it seems like the younger people that are coming to town are not interested in volunteering their services or creating new services. I will not say all of them, because there are a few that are still interested. But the town has had many opportunities, has had many things that has caused the town to grow. The streets have all been paved. Well, no, there's still some dirt streets. Started to say they had all been paved, but that's not true. Some of the farms have been turned into housing projects and different things, and right now in the Jackson area, they are building, they say it will be 3 golf courses, and they say that they will equal or be better than the Augusta National. It will be members only, and they're working on it now. And I probably won't live to see it completed, because I still see mounds of dirt out there. But anyway, it's a different city. I tell people, they say, "Where are you from?" I said, "I live in Jackson." And I said, "My town borders the Savannah River plant." And I said, "We glow in the dark." So, you know, we have a lot of fun with it. We finally got 1 traffic light, and then we got another traffic light just probably a few years ago. Because when the plant was really going, we called it the DuPont 500. You could not get across Highway 125. I mean, you could not do it. Cars were bumper to bumper going 60 and 65, 70 miles an hour. So we had to have a traffic light. We petitioned for that for a while before we ever got it. My grandson was in the band, and I was still working at the school. And I wasn't working full-time then, I was working part-time. And they needed somebody to organize things for the band trip. So I'm very good at asking people for stuff. So I started asking different people, different companies to donate things. I have a huge dining room. I had so much stuff in that dining room until I had potato chips, I had candy, I had drinks, I had most anything you could think of that a kid would like. And it filled one of the compartments under the bus. I think it filled one of them completely. One bus's compartments, not one compartment. And we had 3 buses going to, we stayed in New Jersey. We went to the parade, and it was cold, pouring rain. a very, very sloppy day. And we stayed for the parade, got back home. The band, I think the band had about 130 members at that time, plus chaperones. My daughter and I were two of the chaperones. And when we returned from the parade, the hotel gave us a Thanksgiving dinner. And then I still had snacks left, because I'm telling you, I had so many snacks until it was pathetic. So there was another band from, and I'm not sure what state it was from, but it was someplace from out west, staying at the hotel. So I contacted one of the leaders of the band, and the hotel had a huge balcony around it, and there was a room that was very large, very large. And I said, we've got a lot of snacks. And I said, we'll get the hotel to put some tables out here. And I said, let your band members come over and have snacks and intermingle with our band members. And they did. And they had a ball. They had a ball. And we returned back home, and every year during the Macy's parade, I think about our trip and how wet and how cold we were. But it was very good, and the kids enjoyed it, and it was very much worth the time and effort that went into planning it and all. So it should draw people to our town is the school system, because we have a great elementary school, a great junior high, and Silver Bluff High School. Silver Bluff High School has produced probably more NFL football players than any school in the state of any size. I think we have had 11, 12 football players come from our little school. And several of them are friends of mine. I have a big jersey in my storeroom at home. It's on the wall in my storeroom, and from Corey Chavis. He went to Arizona Cardinals, and so he told me one day he went to Vanderbilt for college, and he told me one day, he said, I want to give you one of my jerseys. He said, which one do you want? And I said, Vanderbilt. My husband said, no, get the Arizona Cardinals. So I told him, I said, give me an Arizona Cardinals, and he did. And he wrote on it, he said, my love for you is unmatched, Corey Chavis. And Dwayne Bates graduated from high school the same time, and Dwayne went to Northwestern to college, and then he went to the Chicago Bears. And then there's been many, many since then. And several of us went to watch Dwayne play. Three of us girls flew up to Chicago to watch him play one time. And we also had Troy Williamson that played, and oh gosh, I can't think of their names right now. Basketball players. We've had at least one, well, we've had two, one girl and one boy that went to pro basketball. We had one kid that went to baseball. And it's a small town, but a lot of talent and a lot of people who have done a lot of work. And hopefully the younger generations will pick up where we leave off and continue.